wanna touch your life. I wanna be the change. I'm gonna shine my light. I'm gonna make a difference. Touch your life. Be the change. Shine my light and make a difference. You're the one to make the world a much better place. You're the one, you're the one, touching lives.
Airtel Touching Lives is an inspiring corporate social responsibility initiative that seeks to offer practical relief, hope, opportunities to liberate and empower the underprivileged, disadvantaged, and hard-to-reach persons in our society. The activities of Airtel Touching Lives are recorded and produced for national television with a view to promoting the spirit of giving, self-sacrifice, and love amongst Nigerians. Good evening, Nigeria, and welcome to Airtel Touching Lives. I'm your host, Wana, and I'm so privileged to be on this journey of empowering and uplifting vulnerable people and building communities right here in Nigeria.
Touching lives.
Having to deal with low vision is merely one of the challenges that the visually impaired are facing when living life. These individuals are just like anyone else, but they just can't see. We have built a world around us that serves the majority, which means the visually impaired face difficulties. One glimpse around us is enough to make us realize how visual most of the information in our environment is. Times tables at school, signs indicating the way or danger, learning materials at university. Most of this information is inaccessible for the visually impaired, inhibiting their independence and growth. Tonight, we revisit University of Nigeria, Nsukka, to see how Airtel Touching Lives help the visually impaired at the Special Needs Library. And we are all aware of the havoc COVID-19 wreaked on our lives. We get to see how Airtel Touching Lives is lending their hand to make life during COVID that much easier with the installation of a molecular testing station deployed in Ogun State.
Touching lives.
Being visually impaired is very, very different and is a challenge on its own. Coming up with academic stress and frustrations of not being able to graduate, it's really not cool.
Education is important to me because as a visually challenged person, I can do barely less things rather than studying. So that's why I deem it fit to hold education tenaciously.
We help students with special needs. In this university, in this library, we have about 75 students that are blind.
Many of them don't have laptops. Because of that, they buy recorders, and the recorders cannot download materials from internet.
We have a computer lab where we have computers, but our students cannot use them because those computers do not have accessible qualities. They are not designed from the beginning to be used by students that are blind. Now, most of our materials are more of physical materials, books in physical formats. And because many of the students are blind, they cannot read them. So getting materials to read is a major problem. And to help them, what we do here is to get these materials scanned. Then we can install it in their systems for them to use. But scanning materials takes a lot of time. The scanner we have here is just one, and it's not functioning properly.
Airtel Touching Lives definitely wants to support your library.
Thank beautiful.
You. And
beautiful.
let's see what they want to offer.
Good.
We'll be giving 20 laptops for the 2 braille machines.
Thank you, Lord.
JAWS software to assist the students in learning, 2 scanners, 1 colored and 1 black and white printer, and then it doesn't end there. There's going to be a 500,000 naira educational scholarship for 2 best students.
It's
a lot of help.
Wonderful development
To the school, to the
library,
students, to us, the staff working there.
Touching lives.
20 laptops, 2 braille machines, 2 scanners, 2 printers, specialized software to assist students in learning, 2 scholarships for the best students. This is an amazing collection of prizes. Let's see how this has assisted the students at Luth.
I felt very happy and very elated that my section and this university has been nominated as a beneficiary of the Airtel Touching Lives.
The intervention has helped the university a lot. For instance, it made the university more inclusive. The students with visual impairment can now access the university online resources from their very own library.
We were able to use the printers and the scanners rather than going to cyber cafe to print our assignments and even my project work. I printed it here too. It was very useful and very helpful to me.
Through the aid of the scanner that was provided, we were able to scan our documents at ease, print out our assignment, and have access to online materials. So it has really helped us in our academic pursuit here.
This intervention has given the students a sense of belonging. They have felt accommodated.
When you have a problem with your own, maybe the recorder or a laptop, or maybe it's malfunctional, to some student that doesn't have, they have an alternative. They can run to the library, use the scanner, use the printer, use the laptops, scan their textbooks or read with it. It gave us a new hope and a place to rely on.
Through the scholarship from the Airtel, I'll be able to pay my fees and different other dues we are paying in school here. So it has helped to reduce the financial burden on my parents.
We are having even more students, more visually impaired students getting into the university. I feel that probably they tell their stories to their colleagues in the secondary school, that they have gotten a university where somebody shows some interest in their affairs.
I want to say, Airtel, thank you very much. I want to say, may God bless you and keep on encouraging you to do this kind of work.
I will say thank you very much, Airtel. I will say, Airtel, you have done a great job. I will say, Airtel, we appreciate you. And I will say, Airtel, we are looking out for more. We wish that you will always visit us with some of these assistive technologies.
Helping those students that are passionate about education is so rewarding. We wish them the best in their future careers. We know they'll be very, very successful. Stay with us because after the break, we bring you the story of the first case of COVID-19 discovered in Nigeria and how Airtel Touching Lives intervened to help with testing. To join the conversation and interact with tonight's show, you can visit our social media. You'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Touching lives.
Just a moment. The refrigerator. Hello? Sunday! Sunday!
Yes, my guy.
Come. 1,000 naira. Buy me Airtel recharge card. You heard what I said? What color?
My guy.
Thank you. Yes. Hey! Sunday don't finish me. I say 1,000 naira recharge card. You carry 8,000 naira of my money. Go load them. Because money there your hand, Abi.
Oga, no. As I load the 1,000 naira, I use Airtel over Jara, turn them to 8,000 naira, just like that.
8 times the value of any recharge, plus double data and 1,000 naira activation bonus when you buy a new SIM.
Sunday, go buy us. And make sure say they put over Jara for you.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Touching lives.
Welcome back to Airtel Touching Lives. Now, in March 2020, we knew very little about a virus called COVID-19. We're all going about our daily routines as we peered across to China to see what was transpiring with this little-known virus. All of a sudden, there was this wrecking ball that was sweeping the world and wreaked havoc on our lives. We knew very little about the virus, but it made a huge impact on our lives. The first case of COVID-19 in Nigeria was discovered in Ogun State, but they did not have any testing stations to deal with this unknown virus and ensuing pandemic. To deal with this ensuing and possibly devastating situation, Airtel Touching Lives set up a molecular testing station to enable testing to take place in Ogun State. Let's take a look at this technology.
February 27, 2020. I got to the office that day, and the state epidemiologist said COVID-19 is here.
My epidemiologist called me and said, "Are you aware of what's going on?" And I said, "No." It said there was an individual that was picked up from the factory in Ewekoro that was suspected to have COVID-19. I started in this position in December 2019, and on the 27th of February, there was the first case of COVID-19 in Nigeria, in Ogun State. It was a bit shocking and overwhelming because prior to that, I was an obstetrician in England, and I had to become a public health physician overnight. The COVID-19 outbreak in Nigeria did not come at a surprise entirely, but we didn't expect that the first place it would arrive in would be Ogun State, given that we didn't have an airport. We were preparing and responding simultaneously.
I didn't think it's going to be as big as it is. I felt within the next 6 months we should be able to send it out of Nigeria the way we sent Ebola out. But it's been one case after the other.
We didn't know what to do because when Ebola struck a few years back, Ogun State was not involved. Lagos State was the epicenter of that. So they were prepared. They had all the emergency response. But Ogun State had to start mounting up and gathering the equipment, the human capacity as we were dealing with the actual outbreak. The political will at the time to invest in health was not at its optimal place. So the challenge was dilapidated health infrastructure, aged equipment, and lack of human resource for health.
At the peak period, it was quite stressful. A lot of people broke down, people were sick, people get infected. You walk round the clock and there is still so much demand.
At the outbreak, we only had about 7 laboratories in the country. We didn't have one molecular lab in Ogun State. We had to collect the samples, wait for a courier service to come and pick it up, sometimes 24 hours later, and then transport it to Lagos. And Lagos also had its challenges having to deal with this large number of cases, so our tests were not the priority. So it could take 5 to 7 days to get a result back, by which time the individual, if positive, would have either gotten over the disease or spread it to others. I think It's our health infrastructure that puts us at risk, because I believe that for the level of development that Nigeria is at, the health infrastructure could be better.
Wow, what an incredible team and a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. After the break, we have Dr. Shisonwo in the studio with us. To join the conversation and interact with tonight's show, you can visit our social media. You'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Touching Lives.
Babe? Hey!
Hi.
Hello.
It's hard to live when you are all alone.
Hi. So my card isn't working. Hello?
All I hear with the
Good morning, I'm really sorry I'm late.
only echoes.
Where are you guys going? Hello? Can anybody hear me? Can you see me?
I don't want to.
Get an Airtel home broadband and enjoy life as it should be.
Thank you so much. Bye.
I don't want to be alone.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Touching Lives.
Welcome back. COVID-19 could have been a complete disaster, but Airtel Touching Lives intervention helped divert a crisis. Let's take a look at this amazing deployment of technology.
Since the COVID outbreak and the lockdown, more importantly, people realized that they couldn't seek healthcare outside the country should there be a lockdown. So there's been an accelerated investment in the health sector, coupled with the collaboration with the private sector. The response has been enormous. New infrastructure, new equipment, and human resource for health is being invested in. The response has not just focused on COVID. There are other non-COVID related conditions that are killing people. So all the investment in the health sector is addressing all those common diseases, malaria, hypertension, and diabetes, alongside COVID-19. So COVID has come as an opportunity, if you ask me, rather than a disadvantage to expose the vulnerability of our health sector and also to attract resources to strengthen our health system. Abeokuta being the capital, we did not have a molecular lab, and we got a philanthropist who actually donated the lab. They paid for 10,000 tests.
Samples are brought in here, we test, and then we release results to the state and subsequently to NCDC. At the peak of COVID-19, we get as much as 800 samples daily at times, from 500 to 800 samples.
When we consumed all the tests, Airtel came along to support us in procuring the molecular lab that is in Abeokuta and increasing our capacity to 450 tests a day. Initially, we had capacity for 150 tests a day, so it tripled our capacity. This came in very, very handy because it then meant that our turnaround time would reduce from 72 hours to about 36 hours. It was pivotal to our success in being able to contain and curtail the outbreak.
The difference that this testing station made has been a big one. because we started with no molecular laboratory at all in the state. Now we are only doing COVID-19, but in the nearest future we are looking at other viral hemorrhagic fever, such as Lassa fever, yellow fever, and all that. We don't have to move out of the state. We can analyze samples and get the result out as soon as possible. I've enjoyed doing this work. I've enjoyed helping people, diagnosing the source of illness of people. It's been fulfilling. It's been wonderful.
We have with us Dr. Deborah Oshisonwo from the Molecular Testing Station in Ogun State. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you to you and your team. You are frontline workers who were working tirelessly to keep us alive. So I really want to say thank you on behalf of Airtel and Nigeria.
Welcome.
You know, if this testing center didn't come to be, if Airtel didn't get involved, what would you say would have happened? What would you have foreseen?
I know sometime before you came on board, I played double role in the state. I'm the case manager for COVID-19, isolation center I'm in charge, and the molecular laboratory. So I know what happened that period. I kept receiving these calls. Dr. Oshisonwo, the A&E is, filled up with patients, and we are not getting results from the molecular lab. What is happening? We had backlogs. We had to send samples to different places, from LUT to Infectious Disease Center in Lagos, to UCH, to EDE, to different places. We didn't have our lab, and it was not funny at all that period. So we had patients on the ward waiting. And it's going to be triage. We had to just keep this patient in different places. This was filled up. The teaching hospital, the private hospitals, the tertiary facilities were calling. Dr. Oshisonwo, we don't have results. And these patients are still with others in A&E. So it was like a big crisis for us then. Well, thank God you came on board to assist the state. Though the Ministry of Health was also on top of the game. We had EOC. We were having meetings almost every day, thinking of different plans, different strategies to bring things down, to contain this virus. And I always say kudos to the commissioner, because she did a very good job. The Ministry of Health team had the EOC, the different pillars, laboratory pillar, molecular, the case management, surveillance. We had to intensify everything. We're having meetings every day. And when Airtel came on board, in fact, it was a big relief when we had the molecular lab, and that helped a lot. We're able to quickly run our samples, get our results within 24 to 48 hours, take our patients on isolation to the ward if we need to do that, and take others to the wards, for admission. Those that needed surgery, we quickly did our surgeries, and everything, died down with time. So I want to say thank you again to Airtel Touching Lives. You did a very good job.
I mean, just listening to you, it's a reminder that, battling this pandemic is a joint effort. You've spoken about the states, the Ministry of Health, and of course, Airtel being involved. And even individuals, the precautions that we need to take and the things that we need to do to make sure that we don't spread this virus. So that we can at least find a way to manage our lives throughout this pandemic, because it still seems like it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm also very interested in knowing about speed, because not having the molecular testing center at the time and listening to the story and how long it would take to get a sample across, to get it tested and getting it back, how much does that affect people's lives?
Yeah, it's affected our lives. Let me use because most of us got infected. I got infected twice.
Oh.
Yes, I saw a patient on the ward. One is not too sure is patient positive or negative. We're waiting for results. That was the word. We're waiting, and we had to wait because we didn't have a molecular lab then. So it affected a lot of us. A lot of health workers came down. Laboratory workers also were down. At a point, we're having home management. More than half of the health workers at home. You can imagine, nobody to see the patients. So at that point, I would say it was really a serious case then. But thank God for the molecular lab again, and thank God for Airtel, I'll keep saying it, and for the states. Ogun State did a very good job. The Commissioner for Health, in fact, I keep giving her kudos every day. She went all out to make sure that that virus was contained in that state. Else, we would have had more than what we are having right now. So, it helped us. You've helped us really.
A big thank you to Airtel Touching Lives and the team at Ogun State in all the work they're doing to fight this global pandemic. Until next time, you've been watching Airtel Touching Lives.
Touching Lives.
Next week, Adeyola Ayola is a first-time mother and should be enjoying the birth of her son. However, Daniel was born with Down syndrome and, to make matters worse, was diagnosed with a hole in the heart that has stifled his growth. And for our featured story, because Airtel Touching Lives believes that children are the future of our country, to ensure that they get the best possible education, we visit the Government Day Junior School and see the work undertaken to rejuvenate the school.
Touching lives. I wanna touch your life. I wanna be the change. I'm gonna shine my light. I'm gonna make a difference. Touch your life. Be the change. Shine my light. And make a difference. You're the one to make the world a much better place. You're the one. You're the one. Touching lives.
Airtel, the smartphone network.